Clippers visiting Minnesota in the second play-in game. Winner gets the 7 seed. We'll play Memphis. So Karl-Anthony Towns, the most expensive player from that game, at 10-3. How are you looking to approach this matchup from a DFS perspective, Nick?
I think that where you got to start things off is with Paul George. And I understand playoff P. I understand people want to mock him, but there was a time where this guy was pretty tough in the postseason. It didn't matter who he was going up against. And I still think that we can see that guy tonight. Of course, this is a pace-up matchup for him. And we've seen him do a little bit of everything since he's returned. This is what he rested for. This is not necessarily the play-in game specifically, but the postseason. So I have no problem backing him tonight. And one other thing that also leans me toward a bet that we'll talk about in a second, related to Paul George, Minnesota gave the fourth most rebounds to opposing shooting guards this season and the 5th most assists to opposing shooting guards during the regular season too.
Okay, Matt, what do you want to do here?
Well, I think I'm going to go pretty far off the board and pick Naz Reid and not Karl-Anthony Towns as a center choice. I just think Towns, being only a little more expensive than George, but probably a better fantasy player, and then much cheaper than the guys on Brooklyn, I think he ends up being the most popular player on the slate. And there are a lot of ways that Towns can have a bad game. I mean, blowout is the obvious one, but this game should be close. So that's not really what I'm looking for here. But Karl-Anthony Towns gets in foul trouble all the time. And yes, this could be a game where he stays in with more fouls than you'd be comfortable with because it is kind of a must-win game. But it isn't really. These teams could lose and then still go on and win their next game. But either way, like Towns getting in foul trouble does happen from time to time. And Naz Reid will essentially play any minute that Karl-Anthony Towns is not on the court. So I think from a leverage perspective, this is the spot. I think really it's 2 centers. Drummond, who I mentioned before, over Claxton. You can pay above Claxton to get Drummond. And then I think here you can pay down from Towns to Reid. Because if something happens to Towns, an injury or just foul trouble, Reid is the guy who benefits very, very directly, and I just don't think anyone's playing him. So this is purely a tournament play, but I really do like Naz Reid for leverage for this game.